John and Emma had what seemed to be the perfect marriage. They met in college and fell in love almost instantly. John was a kind, hard-working man with a gentle soul, while Emma was vibrant, full of life, and always the center of attention. They were a perfect match, or so everyone thought. They moved to Willowbrook, a picturesque small town where everyone knew everyone else. John worked as an architect, spending long hours designing homes that would become the heart of many families' dreams. Emma was a school teacher, beloved by her students and respected by her colleagues. John adored Emma. He would surprise her with flowers for no reason, plan romantic getaways, and always made sure she knew she was the center of his world. Their life together was filled with laughter, love, and dreams of the future. They talked about having children, growing old together, and living happily ever after. But life has a way of throwing unexpected challenges our way. As time passed, John noticed subtle changes in Emma. She seemed distant, lost in her thoughts more often than not. She started spending more time at school, coming home later and later each day. When John asked, she would brush it off, claiming she had extra work or meetings. John tried to believe her, but a nagging feeling in his heart told him something was wrong. He dismissed it, thinking he was overreacting. He loved Emma and trusted her completely. One evening, while John was working late on a project, he received a call from a friend. "John, I don't know how to tell you this, but I saw Emma today. She was with another man. They were having lunch, and it looked intimate." John's world shattered. He didn't want to believe it. Emma, his Emma, would never do that to him. But the seed of doubt was planted, and it grew rapidly. Determined to find out the truth, John began to pay closer attention to Emma's actions. He checked her phone when she wasn't looking, something he never thought he would do. He noticed calls and messages from an unknown number. The messages were affectionate, filled with promises of secret meetings. John's heart broke. He confronted Emma, hoping against hope that she would deny it, that it was all a misunderstanding. But the look on her face said it all. She was caught, and there was no escaping the truth. "How long?" John asked, his voice barely a whisper. Emma looked away, tears streaming down her face. 6 months, she confessed. John felt like he was drowning. The woman he loved more than anything in the world had betrayed him. He couldn't understand why. He had given her everything, loved her with all his heart. Emma tried to explain, but nothing she said could ease John's pain. She claimed it was a mistake, that she still loved him, but John couldn't hear her over the sound of his breaking heart. The man she had been seeing was a colleague, someone she had confided in during tough times. Their relationship had started innocently enough, but it had grown into something neither of them could control. John moved out of their home, unable to bear the sight of Emma. He stayed with a friend, trying to piece his life back together. Nights were the hardest. He would lie awake, replaying every moment of their relationship, trying to figure out where he went wrong. Emma was devastated. She knew she had made a terrible mistake, and she would give anything to take it back. She tried reaching out to John, but he wouldn't respond. She was alone, trapped in the house that was once filled with love and laughter, now echoing with her guilt and regret. John, on the other hand, spiraled into a deep depression. He couldn't focus at work, couldn't eat or sleep. He started drinking, trying to numb the pain. His friends tried to help, but there was little they could do. John's heart was shattered, and he didn't know if he would ever be whole again. One day, Emma decided to write John a letter. She poured her heart out, apologizing for everything she had done, begging for his forgiveness. She admitted her mistakes, confessed her love for him, and asked for one last chance to make things right. John received the letter, and for a moment, he felt a glimmer of hope. But the pain was too deep, the wounds too fresh. He couldn't forgive her, not yet. He tore the letter to pieces and threw it away, trying to bury the emotions that threatened to overwhelm him. Months passed, and slowly, John began to heal. He started going to therapy, trying to make sense of his emotions. He reconnected with friends and family who reminded him of the love and support he still had. He focused on his work, channeling his pain into his projects. Emma, too, was trying to move on. She resigned from her job, unable to face her colleagues and students. She moved to a different town, hoping to start fresh. But the guilt and regret followed her everywhere. She couldn't escape the shadow of her mistakes. One day, John received a call from Emma. She sounded desperate, her voice trembling. "John, I need to talk to you. It's important." Reluctantly, John agreed to meet her. They met at a small cafe, the place where they had their first date. Emma looked different, thinner and more fragile. She told John she was sick, diagnosed with a terminal illness. She didn't have much time left. John was shocked. Despite everything, he still cared about Emma. He listened as she poured her heart out, apologizing once again for everything she had done. She told him she wanted to make amends, to spend her remaining time making things right. John agreed to help Emma. He moved back in with her, taking care of her as her condition worsened. They spent hours talking, reminiscing about the good times and even laughing together. It was bittersweet, a painful reminder of what they had lost. Emma's health declined rapidly. John stayed by her side, holding her hand as she took her last breath. She died in his arms, tears streaming down her face as she whispered, "I'm sorry, John. I love you." John was devastated, but he also felt a sense of closure. He had forgiven Emma, and in her last moments, he had seen the woman he fell in love with. He mourned her loss, but he also began to heal. He continued to see his therapist, working through his grief and pain. He focused on his work, creating beautiful homes that would become the heart of many families' dreams. He knew Emma's betrayal would always be a part of his story, but it didn't define him. John eventually found love again. He met a woman who understood his pain, who loved him despite his scars. They built a life together, filled with love and laughter. John never forgot Emma, but he also knew he deserved happiness. Years later, as John looked back on his life, he wondered about the nature of forgiveness and love. He questioned why people hurt those they love and if true forgiveness was ever really possible. His story was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, the capacity to heal and love again despite the pain. And so, John's story ends not with answers, but with questions that linger in the hearts of those who hear it. It is a story of love and betrayal, of pain and healing, and of the enduring strength of the human heart.